That's not recording, is it?
Of course it's recording.
No, start over.
Get out of my video.
No.
All right. Given the what? I see you. Yeah, usually Danny's not by my side in my video, but she's deciding to sit here and keep me company. It's gonna get pricey to edit this. Words. Welcome back to our YouTube channel, this series on bodybuilding contest prep mindset. This is part 2. So part 1, I was touching upon everything that I did wrong or could have done better. And now I want to delve into everything that I expect out of this contest prep. I think the first thing you want to ask yourself before you jump into your contest prep is, what is your training age? Knowing your training age gives you a realistic expectation for what your competition season is going to look like. When I say training age, I mean how many years have you been training in a row and doing so with intention, with intent to bodybuild, training for hypertrophy and doing it in a smart way. I have roughly 15 to 20 years of training under my belt. However, I have only been training consistently for the past 7 years. Now, to place top 3 and potentially go from amateur to pro, in my opinion, you want to be training consistently for at least 10 years in a row with hypertrophy specific training. Anything less than that, and you should not expect to place top 3. Genetics aside, that is just what I would make the expectation. So I'm looking for a strong place in this competition season, and I obviously want to go for it. And that's basically where my head's at. This is an important question to ask yourself before, like I said, before getting into the process and just going for it. You know what I mean? The second question that you want to ask yourself is, what is your setup? What is your setup going into competition prep? Now, if you have the time, it helps to get yourself set up to be crossing the start line in an advantageous position, body composition wise. Meaning, figure out what you think you want your stage weight to be and try to start your competition prep 8 to 12% above your estimated stage weight. So in other words, for me, my estimated stage weight, thought it was like around 160, 165. So I wanted to start my competition prep around 175, give or take. Don't pay attention to math. Just think about that's where you want to be. If you don't have the time to, say, do a quick cut and a diet break before you start your prep, just think about how much weight you will need to lose throughout the competition prep and how feasible it actually is. In actuality, if you're adhering perfectly and your programming is set up right and everything's working out swimmingly, you should be able to lose about 1% of your body weight every single week. And obviously, as you get leaner, that number is going to change. So just a formula and something to think about when you're setting up expectations for your prep and what your season is going to look like. The next thing, and this is an important one, and I think this is something that we take for granted, especially our first, second, and maybe even third go at competition prep is, we want to just get into this thing and just start competing, but think about what life is going to be like while you are preparing for your competition. What is your lifestyle? How demanding is it? What are your priorities? Are they going to change? When you get thrown curveballs, how stress adapted are you to your lifestyle and environment? And how many more stressors will we have to adapt to? And how will that affect our ability to execute? Competition prep is, no matter how much experience we have with it, it takes so much out of us, and it's very challenging to do it in a balanced way with one's lifestyle. So really think long and hard about, is it the right time to compete? And if you make the decision that it is the right time to compete, what are the consequences? The other thing that you have to think about are your genetics. How much muscle can your body feasibly hold on its frame? And this is a question you may or may not have the answer to, but it's something we learn over time as we change our body comp to become stage lean, and we're up against a pool of competitors. I mean, let's face it, this is a bottom line driven sport, and we're all competing against one another for one specific look, and you're working within the confines of your genetics. Now, you can make the most of that. However, it's still you up against everyone else. So how much muscle can you feasibly hold on your frame? What does your frame look like, and how much have you developed it? These are just things to think about, as opposed to, I want to be number 1 and I should be number 1 or whatever. No, it's you against yourself and being out there, being the best version of yourself. And obviously, may the chips fall where they lie, because it's a pretty competitive sport these days, and it's only getting more and more competitive over time. How much time do you have to dedicate to all the things you need to do to have a successful prep? Meaning the diet, the training, the cardio, all of that jazz. And how much time do you have to dedicate to the presentation itself? Meaning posing practice, posing routine if that applies to your division. These things matter and they will affect the outcome. And the sooner you get started with them on your prep, the better. And the more time you have to dedicate to these processes, obviously the better, but we only have so much time to do this kind of stuff. So things to accept going into your next competition prep. I keep saying, I've too many times saying competition prep in this video. Oh well. And finally, what is the actual expectation for our competition season? There are a couple things to consider. What were we able to do in our off season? And remember the first part of this mindset series, what could we have done? Whatever wasn't able to be done in the off season or could have been done better, accept that, embrace that. It's going to be a part of the outcome. For me personally, I like to set the bar slightly out of reach and then accept where it's gonna be and then do everything you can do while you're preparing for your competition. Anyway, so these are the questions that one should consider asking themselves before they jump into a prep. That way you have realistic expectations and you go in with your mind right and you're ready. So anyway, I got at least one more part for this mindset series, so stay tuned. If you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned. Next week, I'll be back with more.